What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Monday's Late Night Agenda. We have a jam-packed show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the game coming up against Sheffield United. We're going to be talking transfers, of course, giving you a bit of an update on the Joel Matip situation, and a few other bits and pieces along the way. Of course, we'll be asking you guys for your input on all the latest stories today. There's been a bumper new TV rights deal announced by the Premier League today, which we'll cover, of course, and a few other bits and pieces. The big question I want to start off with, though, is will Sheffield United's manager, Paul Heckingbottom, still be in charge on Wednesday when Jurgen Klopp and the boys rock up to Bramall Lane? It's not looking very likely at this particular moment. Chris Wilder has been mentioned as a possible replacement or a likely replacement. So yes, we have a lot to get through. There's a situation with Manchester City, them being charged by the Premier League for being unable to keep their players in check. Haaland avoided his punishment, but we'll talk about that as well. So, yes, how are we? I hope you're all well. Appreciate you being in tonight with me. Somebody in the chat said he's already been sacked. Has he? I'd seen earlier on that it was going to be, so yeah, it looked like a formality. So it looks like Wilder will step in, and of course, happens just before we rock up. Burnley can have their 5-0 whooping of them, but when we come, it's the new manager bounce. Yeah, look, we've a lot to get through tonight, folks, but you know what I like to do for the first 10 minutes or so? It's just check in. A couple of thank yous as well. Mark's just sent me a polite little reminder to say that I need to thank JC Galvanil for gifting 2 lots of 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Keen-eyed viewers amongst you will know that that makes 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Quick maths there for everybody. So JC, my man all the way over in the United States, thank you for showing love to your fellow community members. Rachel as well, welcome back to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. And I think I haven't missed anybody else out there. Good, we're up to date. Canada is in the house with Duad. We love that, mate. Welcome in. It's mad to me still knowing that people join us from all different parts of the world, but I love it. I really do. Right, Craig, you're my celebrity crush. Oh, hello. I'm going to tell my wife that I'm a celebrity. I mean, not about the crush part. The celebrity's the important part there for me, mate. But look, you tune in, you watch, and I appreciate it. But, you know, I'm not a celebrity. I'm a normal, working class, down-to-earth fella who just gets to do this for a living and is very fortunate. And I appreciate your support. Love from Massachusetts. How are we, Adrian? Are you going to be at the live show, Adrian? You know, we're rocking up to Boston in March, so we hope to see you there. And look, you'll also notice that it is Monday, and that means one thing. It's Oosh Day here on Anfield Agenda, so we're going to be giving a shout out later on, of course, to our amazing friends over at Oosh who have the best of giveaways, you know that, and this week they haven't let you down either. They've got some great ones that I'll talk about in a while. Westmeath is in the house. Connor Finnegan, how are we, mate? I used to spend an awful lot of time in Westmeath. My in-laws used to have a mobile home down in Loughnennel, so a lot of my early days dating my wife was spent down there for the weekends and stuff. Wakanda. Oh, okay, even I get that. All right, so I'm not a comic book person or a superheroes person, but even I know what Wakanda is, or what Wakanda is, I should say. Right, so where shall we start? Because I want to hang off on a situation. I want to have a conversation about Trent Alexander-Arnold in a little while. Of course, I want to look into the transfer stories as well. But what would you like me to kick off with tonight, folks? Oh, I've got something that I have to do as well later on. So remind me, if you've thought that you had seen me be as cheesy as I can possibly get, well, I'm going to ask you to hold my beer a little bit later on because I've got some extra cheesy Craig on the way. January signings is what Blue Bear wants to kick off with. Blue Bear's got blue balls over January transfer signings. Yeah, look, there's 2 articles that caught my eye today. You may have seen the transfer news video earlier on that I spoke about Kefren Thuram, and I'm going to be talking about him a little bit later on as well, because there's been a couple of stories today in 2 different parts of the world linking Liverpool with a January move for Kefren Thuram. Jack, I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. I'm nice, relaxed. Have you seen that FG offering you a scrap, have the mank? I don't know what that is, Leonie. I'm going to need that communicated to me a little bit clearly. FG offering you a scrap, have the mank. Mate, I've no idea what the fuck that means. Can we stop watching those goals from Sunday? No, I can't. I'm absolutely been watching over and over many times, and I still think that my favourite is Alexis. That's my favourite of the goals. We want Trent in midfield. We'll have a conversation about that, the heart of football. We'll look back over his performance yesterday. We've got some stats and stuff that we want to bring up as well. And then we'll have a proper conversation about the move that seems like it's just a formality or just a matter of time. Drogheda is in the house. We like that. Hooked on Sunday's goals. I don't blame you, Reese. I mean, you're not going to find a game with 4 better scored goals for one team. Every single one of them goals yesterday had something special about them. The more I watch back the winner from Trent, the more I think we had a bit of luck on our side. Because there could have been, if the referee wanted to be an asshole, there could have been a shout for Costas maybe impeding one of their players. I think it might have been De Cordova-Reid if I'm not mistaken. But ref let it go and we got the goal and we won the game and the rest is history. Packed Trent's inform card this morning before he gets another one this week. We need to stop conceding easy goals, said Darwizi. Yes, we absolutely do, mate. That was one of my biggest frustrations yesterday, was just how easily we were conceding those opportunities, especially from the Fulham corners. You know, it seemed like every time they got a set piece, we were in trouble. So we'll definitely need to have a conversation about that one. Right, let's see. I think have we allowed time enough for everybody to come in and get started? Wish we could defend corners, Liam. You're not on your own, mate. That was my big fear yesterday, is that we just seemed likely to concede an opportunity every time they did a set piece. Nothing better than the Craig live show. Look forward to it every evening. Keep it up, said East Busal. Oh, mate, that's really lovely of you. You're not the only one. And by that I mean I look forward to this every night as well. I'd sit around, I record my other videos, I do my research and all, but ultimately I'm looking at the clock waiting for 8:30. Well, who am I lying? I'm waiting for 32 minutes past 8 so I can actually come live. Defending reminds me of last season, said Goomy. According to Florence, not Florence, his name isn't Florence, it's Flory in Plettenberg. João Palhinha to Bayern is getting cold. The club gradually distancing itself from potential January move. That was thought to be a gimme. That was thought that was going to happen, but I can kind of understand it. You know, I never thought it was a good age profile fit for Bayern. They should probably get somebody in that position a little bit younger. I thought you were waiting for cheesecake. I can't even tell you the last time I had cheesecake, mate. I can't tell you. Right, so I did say to you I had a little bit of cheese coming up, right? And I'm gonna get into position now, Fo. Are you ready? Because just when you thought you'd seen me at my cheesiest, I read something earlier on, and I gotta give full credit to this. I'm not clever enough to think up this. I seen it in the comment section of The Athletic earlier on. So I'm gonna summon my inner WWE persona for a second. You ready? What are you gonna do when Endomania runs wild on you, brother? Yeah. There you go. What are you gonna do when Endomania runs wild on you? I seen that in the comment section of The Athletic and I had to rob it. I had to. Immediately, the inner Hulk Hogan fan in me had to rob it. Had to say it. Because it's right. That's exactly how I felt yesterday after Endo scored that goal. Endomania was running wild all over Anfield last night, and I love it. So yes, what are you gonna do, brother? Old school. I sent that to Connor, the wording, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, I'm old, haven't I? You probably wouldn't get that, mate. So I had to send him the screenshot of Hulk Hogan back in the day. Whatever's up there. I know, Nick, I know. But, you know, the dad in me couldn't help but do it because I read it and I wanted to say it. And I watched it back as well to make sure I got my Hulk Hogan. Well, I always find when I try and do Hulk Hogan, I end up halfway between him and Macho Man. So explain why Haaland got away without a ban. Well, that seems as good a place to start as any, Sean. Thank you for your super chat, firstly, mate. So, yes, for those of you who aren't aware, the Football Association have charged Manchester City for failing to control their players in yesterday's 3-3 draw against Spurs. But they have neglected to charge Erling Braut Haaland. And a lot of us want to know why. Because the rules are apparently no getting up in the referee's face, but you don't need me to tell you that there was at least 5 Manchester City players surrounding Simon Hooper. And you've seen the still images of Haaland looking like he was about to cry. And you've seen the mouthing of language towards the referee from Haaland. So why is there no punishment? It's one that I think has frustrated a lot of us because I don't understand it. You know, we've seen Van Dijk get further punished when he was foul-mouthed and refused to leave the pitch in enough time against, I can't remember what referee it was that sent Van Dijk off for that one. But why nothing here? You know, why is it that our players seem to be the only ones that get these yellows for going near the referee, where Manchester City players can do what the fuck they want? Stand there, jumping up and down, screaming in the referee's face, and no individual punishments. But the club have been punished, so that'll be another fine, which, as we all know, with Manchester City's ever so harsh financial reality, they'll struggle to pay that one, says nobody ever. It's just pointless. It's just like just pissing into the wind. Who cares? But yeah, we knew that there wasn't going to be a punishment. They also weren't going to punish him for his WTF social media post, because apparently that didn't break any of the FA's rules around social media posts. So basically, I don't know the answer as to why he hasn't been charged individually, but we are where we are. How serious is the Matip injury? We don't know the extent of it yet. I will read you out some words from Jurgen Klopp that will give you a bit of a flavour about where we are with it. Kloppo, speaking after the game yesterday, said, "We lost today, Joel, and we obviously have no scan yet, but after all you hear and you see, it won't be a short one," said Jurgen. It's his knee, unlucky, but we have to get through this. So it looks like Jurgen's expecting to be losing Joel Matip for a while. Now look, until we know the full extent of it, my biggest fear is that it's really bad and we may not see Joel play for Liverpool again because his contract is up at the end of the season. So I hope that's not the case. I hope it's something, you know, a minimal time missed as possible, but you get the vibe that Jurgen's not optimistic on this one. You know, when Allison felt his afterwards, it was far more upbeat from Jurgen in his post-match press conference. Again, he still hadn't got the scan results, but he said he just felt a little something. This one, he seems to feel Joel maybe felt something a bit more serious. So when we get the full extent and the full prognosis, we'll definitely let you guys know. But as we are, that's all we know at this moment in time. When is Allison back? Well, there could be some good news there. Total eclipse. There's been some murmurings today that maybe Allison Becker will return a little bit ahead of schedule. Now, I don't want to put a time frame on it yet, but somebody had mentioned next week as to maybe getting him back training. I don't know yet. So until we know 100%, we plough ahead as planned. And speaking of the Manchester United game, Liverpool are going to be holding some test events ahead of the opening of the Annie Road end, and I think there's one coming next Monday which will include a Q&A with Jurgen Klopp as part of the test event, where they have to obviously check that everything works, capacity's okay, everything's safe, and everything works as it should. So keep an eye on the club website if you're interested in that. I don't know if it's going to be open to public. You'd imagine it probably will be. You'll have to apply for tickets or whatever, but do check out the club's website and that one if you're around the area and you want to maybe attend a Q&A with Kloppo. Do you think we buy a centre-back now? Yes. Not just because of Matip. It looked like we were going to be looking at that area of the pitch in January. So defensively, I expect reinforcement in January. Will it be a centre-back or a full-back? I don't know. But until we know exactly what's up with Joel, I mean, if it was the end of the season and he was out, I would expect us to definitely go for a centre-back. But if it's a few weeks, you never know. Any news on Jota? Nope. I've not seen anything, Christopher, unfortunately, on Diogo Jota. Hincapié or Anderson? So are we talking about Anderson, Crystal Palace Anderson? In which case, no. And Hincapié won't be January. You know, there's no way Leverkusen are going to sell any of their prized assets when they're in a title race, they're in the knockout stages of the Europa League, and they've still got Xavi Alonso there. So I don't think it'll be Hincapié in January anyway. We brought that game back because of your carrot juice. Absolute lucky charm. I mean, I didn't want to take all the credit for it, but you're right. You're right. The only reason Liverpool turned that round yesterday was because of the endomania running wild all over Anfield and the carrot juice that I was consuming. Yes, it's the perfectly logical explanation for the comeback. How would you feel if Hendo and Fabinho were back? I mean, I don't understand the point of that question. Like, honestly, does nobody wants Hendo back for a start because he's done, he's washed, he's finished. And Fabinho, probably the same. So I have no interest in seeing either of them back. Trent with the Adidas is a beast. Yes. We love Trent getting them Predators and getting the old Adidas back straight away. And look, I'm still giving him that goal yesterday. For me, I'm not taking it away from him. I did watch it back and yeah, kind of did go in off the keeper, but so what? It was his free kick. He should get the goal. How many times is Trent going to get to score a brace for Liverpool, really? You know, not very often, I'd imagine. So we've got to give him that goal. So what's the Thuram news? Everybody, you need to let me, eke the news out bit by bit. Otherwise, this will be a 15-minute show and we'd be done. So don't worry, I will get to Kefren Thuram, but one thing at a time. Do you think we can win the quadruple this year? No, I do not. I think the quadruple is fanciful thinking, but I want us to try. I don't think we will, but I want us to try. We're in it. We're in every competition, so let's wait and see how it pans out. Look, we did get a very difficult FA Cup draw away against Arsenal in the third round. I heard Jeff Stelling. Well, I didn't hear him. I seen a comment attributed to Jeff Stelling on TalkSport saying that he thinks the FA Cup third round draw should be seeded. He gave an example of some lower tier clubs who want a bumper payday but are ending up playing lower tier clubs again in the third round. It won't be on TV, so they won't get the financial windfall from it. And I understand where Jeff's coming from with that one. By Christmas, where do you think we will be in the table? And that's from Dak01. I think, like your name ends there, mate. I think we could be top of the pile come Christmas. I think it's going to be us or Arsenal that top the league table, and it could come down to the game on the 23rd. I feel like whoever wins that game will spend Christmas on top of the league, so hopefully it's us, but it's going to be a difficult game. I can't wait though. What a week that's going to be. United on the 17th, West Ham on the 20th in the Cup, Arsenal on the 23rd, and then I think, if I'm right, on the 1st of January again at the Emirates in the FA Cup. My favourite moment was when McAllister scored and you shouted "Thunder cunt." That's not my word. That's not my phrase. I mean, that's been around a while, to be fair. I just like to find any way I can to get that word in, You know me, it's my favourite word. Have you seen the officials for the Sheffield United game? Yeah, well, I know that Simon Hooper's the referee for the game, but I haven't seen the rest of the officiating team. Look, I hope, Imran, we're not in a position where we're having to look to criticise referees because of our performance against Sheffield United. We should be going there to try and win, with the confidence to win. I have recorded my preview for that game. That's going to be coming out tomorrow afternoon, and I have made a few changes in the team because, well, we've another game coming up against Palace at 12:30 on Saturday, so short turnaround will probably mean Jurgen will look to his squad depth for this one. I'm pretty sure Anthony Taylor's on VAR. I'm fine about stuff like that. We're going to have these clowns officiating at some point. So, look, I just hope we can take it out of VAR's hands for these games and not have them have a detrimental impact. Liverpool must sign Moscardo. I don't think we are going to. I'd seen Chelsea, I want to say Real Madrid, but there's been a few other linked to. That's Gabriel Moscardo, that guy. I've seen our name mentioned, but I don't know if we're a real serious contender. The officials are in my messages. Right, what have we got then? Simon Hooper is the referee. Simon Long and James Mainwaring is the assistants. Fourth official is Tony Harrington, and VAR is Michael Oliver with his assistant Richard West. So there we go. They're the officials, and thank you, Mark, for that one. Oh, PSG. Good shout, Gumi. You're right. PSG with a team that I'd read about with Moscardo. Thank you for reminding me. You're spot on. McAllister or Garnacho's goal? Garnacho's. Let's be honest about it. McAllister's goal was absolutely sublime, but that goal from Garnacho was otherworldly. That's the goal of the season for me so far. If Nunes plays Wednesday, he's got to score. I don't think he starts on Wednesday. I think he goes with Gakpo on Wednesday. And I think we see Darwin rested for Palace. That's my guess. Right, let me get to my notes anyway. Because I did say I wanted to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. So let me just look down at this. Okay, cool. So I want to have a conversation around Trent Alexander-Arnold and the elephant in the room. Will we or won't we see Trent Alexander-Arnold moved permanently into midfield by Jurgen Klopp? So Sky Sports have put together a group of statistics around Trent's performance against Fulham, and I wanted to just show you guys them, talk through them, and then we'll have a conversation about whether we think Trent is going to be moved into midfield or not. So let's start off with a graphic anyway. And as you can see on the screen there now, Trent had a pretty good game and he topped lots of measurements. So looking at the stats, he had a goal in the game, obviously, which equals first. He had 34 passes in the final third of the pitch, which put him first as well. 10 times he won possession, again, putting him top of the pile. Dribbles, he had 5, again, putting him number 1 in the game. Final third entries, I mean, I don't know where they come up with some of these stats, by the way, or how they're even stats, but here we are. So final third entries, Trent had 26 of them, putting him first as well. Shots in the game, Trent had 4, putting him second. He had 103 touches, again, putting him in second place. 81 passes, second place, and distance covered in the game in kilometres is 11.72, again putting him in second place, with 22 sprints in the game, putting him in third place. So, as you can see, that's the metric at which we're measuring this guy now. But what I want to know is there a need to make that a permanent thing? Should we look at getting Trent Alexander-Arnold into the position, let's say, currently occupied by Dominic Szoboszlai? Or are we likely to see Jurgen Klopp keep up the inverted role that he has at right back, where he drops into midfield and impacts the games? So I have to say, for me, I've battled back and forth with this over the past couple of months. And it was only really yesterday in the game against Fulham that I kind of came onto the side of maybe this is the right move. If, and this is the important part for me, if we have the right number 6 on the pitch to give Trent the opportunity to really excel in the role. So yesterday what we seen was Wataru Endo brought on, Endo playing pretty high up the pitch, having a really good impact, and that allowed Trent to be more central as well in an advanced area, and we've seen the impact that had. So we know the quality's there from Trent. We now see that the work rate and the graft is there from Trent as well. And as we've all seen, Trent has developed into a leader this season. Whether it's the stuff he did in the summer off season, he was over in the Under Armour Performance Academy and stuff and doing stuff over there. It just feels like Trent's become a more well-rounded player and person over the summer. So right now, I don't want it to happen mid-season, and I've been very consistent on this. I think if we're going to move Trent, we may need a tweaking system. But if we do see him in now, I think the problem we have is who drops out. Because right now, if I was to ask you our best midfield 3, most of you are probably going to go somewhere with McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Or maybe you fancy Endo in there. But either way, most of us would kind of have Szoboszlai and Gravenberch or Szoboszlai and Jones in our preferred midfield in the advanced positions. So if Trent goes in there, is he going to push somebody else out? Are we going to lose the opportunity to maybe get minutes on the pitch for Szoboszlai? But there is a bit of a wild card to this. We know Mohamed Salah is going to the AFCON in January, so we know we're going to have a space on the right wing. So I guess the question I'm posing is that the right time to see Trent put into Szoboszlai's position, move Dominic Szoboszlai onto the right wing while Mo is at the AFCON, and then we'll get to see firsthand what Trent can do, and obviously we'd use Joe Gomez then to fill in the right back role. I think you can make plenty of arguments for that, and it's probably the most comfortable I feel about it, because it wouldn't necessarily see us changing system or losing minutes for the likes of Alexis McAllister, Gravenberch or Szoboszlai. Now, a lot of people are questioning Szoboszlai's form in the last few games, which, again, a little switch up there, a little change could, I don't know, maybe get the spark back in Dominic Szoboszlai's game. I'm warming to Trent into midfield now. You can see how we can impact the game better when he's more central. But I don't want it to be a 6. And that's what worries me. If we put Trent in a defensive midfield position, I feel like we're going to be exposed. I do. And if you look at yesterday, Fulham, I only really realised this when I watched Match of the Day, but 56%, I think, of Fulham's attacks, if you divide our half of the pitch into 3 sections, 56% came down their left-hand side, our right-hand side, and the remaining was kind of split between central and the right. But the predominant amount of attacks were coming on the left-hand side or our right-hand side, which was vacated by Trent. So that kind of opened my eyes a little bit, because I did feel we were doing quite well. But to see Fulham so positively attack that area, because remember, their defenders have to keep track of Mohamed Salah as well. So they were able to do that because they had a very good player down that left-hand side. So I'm worried about the midfield if we put Trent in the defensive midfield position. I can't lie about that. But if we move him to a Szoboszlai's position and Gomez is at right back, I feel a lot more comfortable that we'll be able to get the performances out of Trent that will impact us in a positive way. And also, I love the little goal scoring touch that we've seen recently from Trent. The comparisons to Steven Gerrard are very clear and very easy for us Liverpool fans to make. But again, it's the celebration, the composure, and the way he does it. When he scored that goal against City and he went up and he went shush, some people didn't like it. I loved it. I absolutely loved every moment of it, because that's what I want him to do. That's what I want him to show what it means. Shut up, know your place. Trent has arrived, and I mean business. And with the Adidas hookup as well, you can see his form getting better. I think the future is bright for Trent, and I think the conversation has moved in such a way now that it's not really a debate anymore. You look at Sky, you listen to Carragher, you listen to Neville, you listen to Roy Keane, you listen to Micah Richards. Everybody just feels like it's a matter of when Trent Alexander-Arnold becomes a full-time midfielder. You've seen the England performances referenced a few times as well. We'll likely see him employed in a midfield role to some extent in the Euros with Gareth Southgate. So my question to the chat and my question to anybody watching is, what do you want to happen with Trent Alexander-Arnold? Is now the right time for him to make that leap into midfield? Or do you think we see out the season with him in the role he's in? Maybe switch him with Joe Gomez, because we can't leave out Joe Gomez in this conversation. Because when Trent gets rested or rotated, as you've seen in pre-season and this season, it's been Joe Gomez that steps in to fulfill that role. So I need to know, can Joe do it long term, or will Trent move in? So it's over to you guys now. I can look through some of the comments already, and I'm initially seeing midfield, but I don't know. And also, one more quick question before I let this segment go. The number 66, does he keep it or does he look to change it? Because a lot of people think it's iconic. I'm old school. I like the older numbers. I like the 1 to 11s. But most people seem to think Trent in midfield, but keeping the number 66. So over to you guys now. Let me know your thoughts. Again, don't forget to drop a like and hit the subscribe button. And I appreciate all of your feedback. We will talk to you soon. Thank you. That gives me a little segment that Connor put out tomorrow as well. So apologies that I wasn't interacting for that 8 minutes, but got to give Connor 8 minutes to work with. Right, so trend poll. Yes, trend poll, JC. Here we go. So okay. Poll is up, JC and everybody else. So do vote away. I just said Trent in midfield full-time, yay or nay. We need to get a proper defensive midfielder before Trent goes into midfield, said Darren Garside. Keep number 66, said Jassa Hickman. It's the new number 8, I like it. De Jules said 66 as well. Giovanni said, is Salah going to the African Cup in January? Yes, mate, he is. I don't think he's going to miss all that many games, but yeah, he is definitely going. Is Matip going to the AFCON? No. And certainly not now that it looks like he'll probably have an injury. So look, really quickly, while you guys are voting in that poll, I'm just going to give a shout out to our sponsors of tonight's stream. We are being brought to you with thanks to our amazing friends at Oosh. Oosh are the home of giveaways, whether it's cars, cash, tech, holidays, or there's all important football club packages. Our friends at Oosh have always got you covered. Don't forget, you can get 10% off any entry on the oosh.com website by using our discount code AA10 or by scanning the QR code in the bottom of the screen. This week, Liverpool versus Chelsea is the giveaway that they're doing for Liverpool fans. It is going to take place on Wednesday, 31st of October, and what you can win is 2 tickets in the Carlsberg dugout sat together to watch Liverpool-Chelsea. It's a really, really brilliant area to watch the game from. You'll get 1 night's accommodation at the Ibis Hotel, Liverpool City Centre, and €300 in Ryanair vouchers, or you can have the cash alternative if you don't need the vouchers. It's €18 to enter. Tickets are limited, and as always, as I say, you can get 10% off with our code AA10. They also have a 50 grand cash draw prize coming up, and lots of instant win competitions with up to 40 grand's worth of prizes that you can win from as little as €2.50. So please check out Oosh, and thank you for your amazing support. Right. My throat is still a bit from yesterday, but I wouldn't change it. When does the AFCON start? I don't know the exact date. I want to say Egypt is about the 14th of January from memory. I think it's about the 14th. What did you think about Szoboszlai's interview saying he's lonely at Liverpool? I mean, that's shit to hear. I hope he's out. No, I mean, I'm sure, to be fair, that he wouldn't be short to people being willing to keep him company in and around Liverpool, you know. He's a fun-loving lad, Dominic Szoboszlai, so I'm sure... it's not nice to hear, though, is it? You know, doesn't matter how much money you have or anything like that, I guess. If you're lonely, you're lonely, so hopefully he can get some family over and mates over soon to keep his spirits high. Someone said I missed their member chat. 1 second. Oliver, there we go. Do you think we'll sign anyone in January? Was that the one? Was that the one I missed? Yes, I do, mate. But the question is, will it be a midfielder or will it be some defenders? I'm going to move on to talk about that right now, actually, while I just welcome in Mike Manser to Anfield Agenda FC. Thank you, mate. Appreciate your support. Look forward to seeing some comments from you in the future, mate. Right, so let's have a talk about the midfielders then. So the reason I'm bringing this up today is, and I mentioned this in the video I put out earlier on, there's been 2 outlets today that have linked Liverpool with a move for Nice's Kefren Thuram. Now, of course, you know, Liverpool were interested in Kefren Thuram previously, and for some reason, we didn't go there in the summer in the end. The start of the summer, we were all talking Kone, Kefren Thuram, and a few others, but we ended up going out and getting in Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, and what tour are you going to do when Endomania runs wild all over you? Sorry, that's how I'm referring to him from now on. So, 2 pieces today that caught my eye. The first one comes from our resident residents on Bullshit Island for Cajes. They say Liverpool are continuing to keep tabs on Kefren Thuram, and they're doing so with great interest. They also go on to say that Real Madrid and Juventus are other potential destinations for the player. Then we go over to Italy for Corriere Torino, who say that Liverpool are already in negotiations with Nice to sign Kefren Thuram. They go on to say that his price will be somewhere between 35 and 40 million quid. And again, they mention Juventus and Real Madrid. Now, here's what I think. I think Real Madrid need a player very much in the mould of Kefren Thuram. I think that Juventus are putting this out there into the world to use our name to make it look like they've got a major coup if they sign the player. I don't know if Liverpool's interest is still there. I don't know how serious we've been negotiating if we have. His agent is Rafaela Pimenta, the former employee or colleague of Mino Raiola. Now she takes care, of Mino Raiola's former agency. So I don't know is the honest answer. It does feel to me like others have a greater need than us. I've mentioned possible interest from I keep saying Real Madrid, from Juventus in Calvin Phillips from Manchester City, because Juventus currently have somebody banned, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for the same incidents or the same betting irregularities that at Newcastle's Sandro Tonali banned. So I don't know if we're still in there or if our name is just being used to big up. But there's another twist to this that I have to add in. I also wonder are Liverpool putting it out there that they're in conversation or that they're interested in Kefren Thuram because maybe they don't want to get drawn into a bidding war over Andre, and maybe they're just kind of trying to put it out into the world that they have other options. If Andre is holding off, or if Fulham are in there and there's going to be a bit of a bidding war, maybe Liverpool feel like there's better value looking at Kefren Thuram. I don't know which one is true. So over to you guys to let me know what you think. Do you think the interest in Kefren Thuram remains, or do you think these outlets are merely just using Liverpool's name to drum up interest? I haven't watched Thuram's games. Is he a DM? I wouldn't think of him as a DM. I think he could play in the role, but from what I've seen of him playing for Nice, I think of him certainly as a more box-to-box number 8 type midfielder. Sorry, if I said Real Madrid, I meant Juve. I meant Juve. Juve are the club that I think are more interested. Sorry, I keep saying Real Madrid because I've been talking about Real Madrid quite a bit lately. We should go for Baraldo or good quality to Trent or a good quality right back to test Trent in midfield. Yeah, so the thing on Baraldo, I'm not 100% certain if we're going to go in for Baraldo. We've been linked with him. He's the kid from Sao Paulo, right? And I was watching, they were playing the other night, and I was keeping an eye on him. We played in the game the other night as well. But I have nothing to add on him. Like, I can't sit here with a good conscience and say I've watched much of Sao Paulo. I've watched none of Baraldo playing, but he's spoken of very highly. So Baraldo is one option, but he's a centre-back option. Obviously, we've got Barco, the other option from Boca Juniors for the left-back role. It's interesting. You know, we've gone from a window where we're initially teased we'd be getting a DM in. Then we were told that we're not going to go for Andre and that maybe we'll look defensively in the January market. But I do think we'll need to act, because it will be the difference for me between a real title challenge and a roll of the dice and seeing how we get on. And I don't like when we have a roll of the dice, because it usually ends up coming back to bite us in the arse. So we've already had recent injuries to Allison, to Jota, to Joel Matip now. On top of that, we've got Bajcetic out for a long time, or has been out for a long time. Thiago Alcantara, again, that's been a very, very long period, I think since April, last time he played for us. And Andy Robertson, of course, his shoulder has kept him out for a while. So I don't think we can roll the dice on not picking up more injuries, particularly as we go into this festive season where games are coming thick and fast. All smoke and mirrors regarding Thuram, said Michael Tormey. We need 2 number 6s. I don't think we do, no. I don't. Not with Bajcetic and Hendo. I don't think we need 2 number 6s. I don't know if you mean we need 2 new number 6s, mate, or we need 2 at the club. Because if you mean we need 2 at the club, yes, I'm with you on that 100%. If you think we need to buy 2, I don't think we need to go that high or that mad for the role. I think 1 is what we're missing. Should we be putting out a strong team in the FA Cup against Arsenal? I guess it depends on a lot of things. It depends how we get on against West Ham in the League Cup before we play them. It'll depend how we get on against Manchester United and Arsenal in the league. And it depends how fatigued and how many minutes certain players have to play between now and then. I don't think it's a decision anybody can make now. All I can say is, if you offered me either a victory in the league against Arsenal or to win in that FA Cup game, I'm taking the 3 points for the league every day of the week. Andre is overhyped, hasn't done anything in Europe yet. But I don't get what you mean by he's overhyped. I don't think he is being overhyped, because we're talking about a 30 million quid player who is, after winning their version, a Copa Libertadores, their version of a Champions League, has been capped by Brazil. And as I said, 30 million quid. I don't think he's been overhyped at all, to be honest with you. You know, it's not like we're looking at somebody getting brought in here like Enzo Fernandez, who ended up costing 100 million quid. So I don't think, I mean, maybe we're speaking about him too much as Liverpool fans, yes, but I don't think he's overhyped. Samet said new contract for Matip. Don't think he can make that call yet. Like, if Matip's out for a few months, or if it's a pretty serious injury, I wouldn't be putting a new contract offer down. Like, again, I don't know what's up with Joel's knee. I just don't. But let's go worst case scenario for a second. Let's say it's a meniscus or it's an ACL injury. I wouldn't be overly optimistic about throwing a long-term or even a 2-year contract down for somebody who's, 32, 33 and has a serious injury. Don't know. I'd have to wait and see what the prognosis is. You don't have to do anything in Europe to be a good player. I was kind of thinking the same thing, East, but I didn't want to be rude. The league will be between us and you lot. Arsenal will be nowhere near it. I mean, I can't lie. I do feel what you've said is probably true. I don't know if Arsenal will be nowhere near it. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't feel Arsenal would drop off a bit. I do think if anybody's to go against Manchester City for the league title this year, we're the most likely. But I would say that, wouldn't I? Thoughts on the DM market in general? Seems really thin compared to other positions. So, 2 thoughts on that, mate. 1, I think you're kind of right. But 2, when the fuck did it become the marquee position financially? Like, Hendo, Caicedo, both over 100 million. Declan Rice, 100 million. When did it become this bougie-ass position? Like, it's a DM. I don't know how all of a sudden clubs are having to pay 100 million quid to get somebody to break up attacks. It used to be the most unfashionable position on the pitch, and now all of a sudden we've seen 3 £100 million deals over the last 12 months. It's mad. How are you? I'm good, mate. I'm good. My throat's a bit sore today, but, lots of shouting yesterday. Rodri effect. Well, look, Rodri's been brilliant for Manchester City. No denying that. I don't know. Actually, could somebody tell me what they paid for him? I have no idea what they paid for Rodri. Whatever it was, still good value. Whatever the number is. Give Endo a chance. I mean, you say for fuck's sake, like everyone's sitting here shitting on Endo. It's weird, like. Nobody that I've seen in this chat so far, mate, Tig, has said don't give Endo a chance. Nobody. I even started off the whole stream bigging up Endo with the whole Hulkamania rip-off part. I've done a video today praising Endo for his goal and hoping it ignites his interest. But whatever way we look at it, he's still a 30-year-old. So we're not going to have him for the next 6, 7, 8 years. So I think it's still worth a conversation around the defensive midfield position. Front 3 this weekend, said Matt Lynch. I don't want to give away my preview already, mate, but let's just say I haven't put Darwin in my front 3 for the weekend. Sorry, no, for the weekend. I haven't thought that far ahead, in all honesty. I was thinking about midweek again. So they paid £62 million or €70 million. Well, if you look at that fee against Caicedo or Enzo, you'd have to say it looks favourable on Manchester City, because there's no way anybody will ever convince me that as good as Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are, they're not almost 40 to 50 million quid better than Rodri. So that's going down as good business, I guess, then for Manchester City. In my opinion, we really need a player that is just a pure DM that has enough experience in the position. Well, I think that's what we tried for with Endo. What we are trying for with Endo, because, it's still happening. I really do get the feeling that little spark yesterday for him is gonna ignite his Liverpool career. It felt like a real watershed moment, that for Endo. Not just because of the goal, but the way he celebrated it, the way he carried himself. He just looked to me like a man determined that he's going to make this work. And fair play to him. Best time of football with the late midweek games on Amazon near Christmas. Yeah, so we've got games this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're coming thick and fast. I can't wait. Where were my notes? One sec. I've got more stuff to go through. So on the games and the TV schedules, today the Premier League announced the latest concluded deals for television rights. So I'm going to read this out to you, and then hopefully you've got a better understanding, if you don't already have one, of where we are. So this is on the Premier League's website. It said the Premier League has concluded deals with Sky Sports, TNT Sports for 5 UK live packages, and with BBC Sport for the free-to-air highlights package. All three agreements will cover a 4-year period starting from the 2025-26 season and are the largest sports media rights deals ever concluded in the UK. So record revenues again. Sky Sports have been awarded live rights packages B, C, D and E, covering a minimum of 215 live matches per season, which will include more than 140 matches played at weekends, evening matches on Fridays and Mondays, and full coverage of 3 midweek match rounds. For the first time, Sky Sports will also broadcast all 10 matches on the final day of the season. And that's important, because there's nothing worse than your team having something on the last day of the season and you're not getting to watch them. So the fact that this deal will see all 10 final games, final day of the season, shown on Sky is a benefit. TNT Sport have been awarded live rights packages covering 52 live matches per season, including exclusive coverage of matches played on Saturdays at 12:30 and full coverage of 2 midweek rounds. But an interesting part to end this article said, for the first time in the UK, all matches taking place outside of the Saturday 3 p.m. closed period or blackout period, including those displaced to Sunday at 2 p.m. because of club participation in European tournaments, will be broadcast live. So we know this season how frustrating it's been on occasion where Liverpool play in the Europa League on Thursday and then our games move to 2 o'clock on a Sunday and it hasn't been on TV. And it's been really frustrating for a lot of people because they haven't been able to watch the Reds. So under this new deal from 2025-26, if you are one of those teams who are in the Europa League or in the Europa Conference League and you play on a Thursday and your match is at 2 p.m. on Sunday, they're going to be shown. So that's a good step in the right direction, I think. Now, immediately, my mind probably goes to the price increase that we as football fans are going to have to suck up, but that's a whole other day's conversation. I wish they'd have just got rid of those 12:30 kickoff spots, though. They might as well just call them the Liverpool spots at this point, because shock horror, we're playing it again on Saturday. Thoughts on Hooper's refereeing this Sunday? He's not refereeing Sunday, he's refereeing Wednesday against Sheffield United. I think. I'm open to being corrected on that, but I think he's the ref for Wednesday. I don't know who's ref in the game against Palace at the weekend. Palhinha, if he's not Bayern bound, no way, not a hope in hell that Liverpool are going to go back and sign another over 30 defensive midfielder. No way, no chance, no how. FSG wouldn't, no way. There's no way John W. Henry signing off on that. You know, I think the reason he did it for Hendo was he thinks it's a bargain or potential bargain at 16.5 million quid. I can't see him signing off on that one. Oh, do you mean thoughts on Hooper's refereeing yesterday, Joel? So I actually thought Simon Hooper did quite well in the game yesterday, up until that incident where he didn't allow play to go on. So, was it a mistake? Absolutely. Do I have sympathy for Manchester City and their fans? Not a fucking hope. Not even an ounce of it. But the way they go on, you'd swear it was a gimme that Grealish was about to score. Now, he was definitely leading the race and was certainly going to get to that ball first and quite possibly could have gone through on goal. But, you know, I guess we'll never know. You can't in any way compare that to us getting shafted by Spurs and VAR, which was an an obvious goal that was just chalked off for no reason. Polinia's 28. Yeah, but he's nearly 29, I think. Either way, not going to happen. We're not going to go out there and spend the money again on a defensive midfielder. Like, because he's going to cost about 60 million quid. So if we're nickel and diming about a 35 million pound defensive midfielder, again, I can't see why we're going to go and spend 60 on somebody who's heading for 29 then. Just, there's no way it'll happen. Mbappe James said, even as a City fan, I don't believe Grealish was getting there at no pace. So I think he'd have got to the ball, but I do think the defender would have caught up with him. But look, either way, the referee didn't play the advantage. So that was a mistake. Now, weirdly, from the laws of the game, Simon Hooper did nothing wrong. You know, it's at the referee's discretion to play an advantage. But it was the wrong call. It was. It just was. If we're to have any integrity in our game and our thoughts on it, yeah, that was wrong. He should have allowed it to play. Because he did really well, actually, initially, allowing the advantage to develop. Because Haaland was fouled. He was about to blow the whistle. Haaland gets back up and then plays the through ball to Grealish. So I understood them being pissed off about it. We'd all have been in the same position, let's be honest. I just don't care because it's City. And I don't like City very much. Off topic, did you rate Martin Skrtel when he was with us? Sometimes. You know, there were periods where Martin Skrtel was really good, and then there were periods where Martin Skrtel was not so good. But one thing I will say to you is, thank God Martin Skrtel was not playing football when VAR was brought in, because we'd have been giving away penalties and red cards every week. You know, Skrtel would not have got away with what he got away with if VAR was around. Referees call back advantages when players play a square backward pass 95% of the time. Well, I don't believe that to be an actual correct statistic, Morton, but it was a weird situation because I don't get why he blew the whistle. Like, I don't. The ball was played forward. Grealish was onto it. It looked like he was going to get there before anybody else. I don't know why he blew the whistle, mate. I don't. What's your opinion on Grimaldo from Leverkusen? Look, everybody at Leverkusen looks to be in good form at the moment. Loads of confidence as well. I was looking at actually watching some highlights from Grimaldo the other day, and there was something I can't remember what it was. Where did they get Grimaldo from? Because there was something about him that popped up that resonated with me, and now I can't remember what it is. What club did he come in from? Benfica, thank you. Do you know when Bajcetic is coming back? Nope. The club aren't very good at keeping us up to date on certain things. And Bajcetic's injury is one of them. So, no, I've no idea. I didn't think it would be this long. So, let's just wait and see. I mean, Bradley came back quite quickly as well into the first team fold. So yeah, no, I don't. But you'd imagine it can't be too much longer. Saying we didn't go for Cenk Toral. Look, it was a good link at the time, AP26. I think most people understood why Liverpool were being linked with Toral. Good player. Manny said, Craig, if we play Trent in midfield, which I would love, who should we get to play right back? Frimpong? Especially at 40 million euro, if that's the release clause. So, I'm not imagining it right. It was Fabrizio that came out and said that Frimpong's release clause is only active in the summer and it's about 40 million euro. So, and I think, to go even further, I think he said there were favourable payment terms on it as well. But then you have to look at Real Madrid. And I was a bit optimistic on it until I remembered, or somebody in the chat reminded me, that Real Madrid are going to be in the market for fullbacks in the next transfer windows. So Will they get Alphonse Areola on one side and maybe Frimpong on the other? I don't know. Don't forget about Connor Bradley. Well, not just Connor Bradley. We've also got Calvin Ramsey, who's on loan at Preston. So, yeah. Look, I think we're okay as we are with Gomez being able to cover at right back. Now that Connor Bradley's back as well, I think we have enough there at the minute. But then it does confuse me as to what we're going to do in January. If anything. Because, is it going to be a centre-back then? You know, if Matip's out now and we've got Van Dijk, Konate, Jarrell Kwanzaa, Joe Gomez. If Matip's out for a prolonged period, maybe it makes sense then to dip into the market for a centre-back. But if we do, I can't see us offering Joel a new deal then when his expires in the summer. But then again, also looking at it going into a busy period with only 4 fit centre-backs, one of them being Van Dijk, who's 31, 32 now. One of them being a youngster, and Jarrell Kwanzaa, who's been brilliant, but still a youngster learning his trade. And Konate, who, let's face it, has had some niggly injuries. I do think I agree with the chat, meaning... did I say Areola? Sorry, I meant Alphonso Davies. I'm fucking losing the plot today, lads. I'm knackered. I meant the guy from Bayern, the Canadian left back, Alphonso Davies. Sorry, I said Areola, you're right. But, that's what happens when I'm tired, man. I say a lot of words in a day, read a lot of articles in a day, and sometimes the brain just picks out the wrong word to put into the sentence. Has Matip retired internationally? To the best of my knowledge, yes. I don't think he returned back to the international fold with Cameroon. I think there was some talk he was going to, but I don't think he did. Gomez for right back, and we buy Bremer. Bremer. Is he at Torino? Bremer, is he still at Torino? I know we've been linked with him a while back. I think I've seen one thing recently on him, maybe. Juve? Did he go to fucking Juve? When did he move to Juve? From Torino? Fuck me. They're rivals. City rivals. God, they really do that a lot in Italy, don't they? That's mad. You see that so often, especially with the Milan clubs as well. The likes of Çalhanoğlu and that. God, they really do move to rivals a lot more freely in the Italian league. Do you think when Thiago gets back, he gets into our midfield? I hope not. I hope he doesn't get near it, to be honest with you. I can only tell you how I really feel. I don't see the idea. I don't see why to give Thiago minutes ahead of players who have a future at the club. Especially, we're talking about Thiago who's been out since April. So... how long is it going to take him to get up to speed when he gets back to fitness? I'd say you're talking at least 4 to 6 weeks. And then, sure, you're getting into, February, March time? No, I don't think Thiago should play a big part in our season. I think we should look to the likes of Bajcetic and the younger players and give them the opportunities. Alphonso Davies should be a good signing for Liverpool. But he's a goalkeeper. I'm only messed. I'm just taking a piss out of myself over the Areola thing. Yeah, I think 80 million though. Is that the number on Alphonso Davies' contract? I think it's about 80 million, something like that. Can you give me a quick recap what I missed? I will in a little bit, my man. I will, don't worry. So have you seen the report? I'm just reading something I got sent here. Have you seen the report today saying that half the United dressing room has already turned on Ten Hag? It seems to be a fucking pattern of that at United, doesn't it? Player power. It doesn't matter what manager's in there. It seems to be the players that get away with anything. And yeah, Cave Solokol and Sky reporting that up to half the dressing room are against Ten Hag already. Yesterday's knee slide thing was so good. It was lovely. Yeah, it was a really good image of all of them. Last time I remember seeing Thiago's when he scored Champions League against Porto. I'm almost certain it was April he played last for us. My mate reckons Thiago walks back into Liverpool's team when he's back. Well, I can see where he's coming from. Absolutely. Like, a fit and firing Thiago probably does get into our midfield, but I just don't see the point of it when we have players with a future at the club. I'm a little bit salty at the minute because that Thiago injury was operated on early to try and get him back for the start of the season, and we're almost we're into December now, and he hasn't even fucking kicked the ball yet. So I just want to draw a line under it respectfully and move on. Rashford stealing a living right now. Yes, very much so. 350 grand a week for 5 years as well. Phoenix said, loved all the goals, but that Waturo goal lit the fire back under the lads in that game. Loved that he asked Mo for the ball and then smashed the top in. I loved that he wanted the ball as well, Phoenix. That was what I was kind of touching on earlier on when I was talking about that being a moment for Hendo, that he seized himself, because you're damn right, mate. He wanted that ball. And it wasn't the first time because he had a shot block prior to that. But the finish though, so composed, and you're right, that was it then. That, and 76 seconds later, I think Trent scores, and somehow, yet again, we've turned a 3-2 deficit into a victory. Like we turned a deficit away at Newcastle, albeit not the same score, into a victory when we brought off Nunes off the bench and he scored a brace. That Trent and the gang celebration was awesome, said Fritz Frank. I need it bottled and injected into my veins. It was one of those beautiful days of football as a fan yesterday. You know, the game had everything emotion-wise. You know, a worldy free kick to start it, then another brilliant strike from McAllister. Then we have the frustration and the anger at going 3-2 down, and Hendo with the break. Kelleher making a mistake and us not defending, and then it looked lost. You know, there's always the hope you might grab a late one to grab an equaliser, but a draw wasn't enough. We needed to make sure we put the pressure onto the City game ahead of the game against Spurs, and we did. And it just made it for a perfect day. It was beautiful. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Seriously though, is there a genuine possibility we get another 7-0 against United? So look, I haven't spoken to any United fan, be it Adam, Ben, or any of my mates, who feel there's any possibility of them getting at for the game at Anfield. Like, they're not even hoping for a draw. They're worried. Like, I said to you a few minutes ago, I got something sent in. Well, it was Ben, and he sent me a message and literally wrote, "We're fucked against you, lol." So they don't feel confident. And nor should they feel confident either. Let's put that out there. Right, so just confirmation again of what I said previously. Ian Doyle has tweeted out, Liverpool will host a test event at Anfield next Monday ahead of the partial opening of the upper tier of the Annie Road End stand for the visit of Manchester United on December the 17th. Event will include a live Q&A with Jurgen Klopp. So keep an eye on the club site. Maybe you can, I don't know if you can grab tickets to that Q&A, and I'm sure they'll need bodies for the test event. So do keep an eye on it. Do you think Allison will return for the United match? Yes, I do. If anything, he might even be a little bit ahead of schedule based off a few things I've seen today. Check back to 2020 press. Bremer was all Liverpool, but the deal fell through. Yeah, I certainly remember him being linked. Rushy. I remember that 100%. But I don't know if we'll revisit or not. I love Kelleher, but I was disappointed in him for 2-3 of those goals. No, let's get this right. If you want to be disappointed in Creevy and Kelleher yesterday, it's for one goal. The third goal, nothing to do with Kelleher. That's Costas and Verge on the back post not paying attention to who's around them. The first goal, as a goalkeeper, I don't blame that on Kelleher. He was in a normal stance, and you have to stand with your legs open. So it was a flick that went through his legs like that. So he tried to correct his stance, didn't work. Again, my frustration is the misplaced pass from Matip and McAllister and Trent not looking at the run of Harry Wilson as he went across the front of them. So I have no blame on Kelleher for the first or the third. But the second, even though I can see what Kelleher was trying to do in preempt the turning from Tete and smothering him, it looked foolish when Tete outfoxed him, hit the ball early, and Kelleher kind of face planted. So second goal, absolutely, 100% agree. And the one that was ruled out for Ream, where he palmed it, he should have done better with that as well. Luckily for us, the linesman's flag went up and it was ruled out, but that should have been dealt with better as well from Kelleher. But the other ones, I'm sorry, I don't feel it's fair to blame Kelleher, because there were bigger mistakes before that, and I don't even think that was a mistake for the first one. It just happened like this. Do you think United would be now if they had Kane? Oh, mate, I'm so happy they didn't. I said that to Adam yesterday as well. I was really worried United were going to sign Kane, but thankfully they didn't, and they've saved themselves the burden of having scored so many goals, because United are in minus goal difference at the minute, which is embarrassing. Thank you for everything, Craig. Mate, you don't need to thank me, Eves. Thank you for being here with us, my friend. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you guys. So, just a heads up as well, I won't be live at all tomorrow. I've got stuff on, which is why I can't do the preview show with Adam. But I did record my preview scores and predictions for the midweek games, and they are up on top of the league. So what's going to happen is the lads tomorrow, Ben and Adam, will do the preview show for the midweek games. They'll give their predictions, and they'll also give mine again. If they differ from Adam's, Ben can, as always, be the voice of reason and make the decision. But do check that out, because it's up on top of the league at the minute. I went through the 10 fixtures midweek, gave you all my predictions for them, and I hope we can claw some points back from the audience, because I think we drew week 2, but the first one we took a big L. The defence for the first goal, Trent, centre-back VVD, left-back Matip, right-back Smirkas, was a shambles. Look, the giving away the ball from Matip was how it started, and then after that we just didn't defend the area well at all. Do you think it's fair criticising Kelleher continually? Said one. Yes, I do. Because look, we'll big up Kelleher when he has a good game, and rightly so, whether he's had no lead up time to it or not. So we've got to be fair and consistent about this. Now, every keeper will make mistakes. But look, I think, yeah, we have to, Look, I'm fighting back against some of the criticism of him because I think it's unfair. But for the things that I believe he got wrong, I'm happy to talk about them, because I think we need to do it. Am I looking forward to seeing GTA 6 trailer? I have no interest, mate. I don't play computer games. I haven't got the time for them. Aggregate score at Anfield in the last 10 games between Liverpool and United is 36-2 to Liverpool. I mean, I love that, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen Roska. That's definitely put a smile on my face. And just in the last... Oh, someone else has moved that out. Kelleher needs to use the criticism as fuel to grow and become better. I'm more than happy with him in goal for the next few games. Yeah, look, it's criticism, but it's not hate, I think there's a difference. We as fans need to be able to say if we think somebody's played poorly. But what we as fans shouldn't do is start tweeting shit and tagging players in it and telling them to get out of the club and going over the top with that type of nonsense. But I think it's fair for fans to have an opinion. But I think you've got to try and be understanding of that opinion and not just have an agenda against somebody. Davino said, I have to respectfully disagree with you. He should have got crosses for the Costas goal. Allison saves that. Also, thanks for the year. Love to the family. Do you know what? I'll be honest, Davino. I've got to look back on the third goal. Maybe you have a fair point on the cross. I will go back and look at that. But ultimately, once we got to the point where he didn't go for the cross, it wasn't his fault. But I will take that on the chin, mate, and have a look back over it. Would you start Hendo on Wednesday? Yeah, I would. Again, I recorded my preview earlier with my prediction for the starting 11, and Hendo's in it. And I think deservedly in it, because I think it works, right? If we play Hendo on Wednesday, knowing then that we've got Thursday, Friday, and a really early start on Saturday, I think that just makes sense. To give McAllister a rest, maybe give Szoboszlai a rest, against a team that, look, all going to form, we should be beaten. So yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to give Hendo a start on Wednesday, and I think I'd be surprised if we don't see him. Andre Nielsen said the ball should have been cleared long before the cross. Shocking defending. Yeah, look, regardless of who's in goal, so maybe Allison would have bailed us out on one or two of them. I think we still have to have a concern about how we're conceding all these chances. I think I agree with the chat on that. You know, it doesn't matter who's in goal if we're not winning aerial challenges in the penalty area for a set piece, and we're not fighting for the second balls. It doesn't matter who's in the goal at that point. It's down to bad organisation, bad defending, and I hate this zonal system that we do, because it just gives people a chance to get a run and jump on you. And as you all know, even if you haven't played football, if somebody has a run up and jump to something to get onto a wall or whatever, you'll get a better leap at it than somebody who's standing still trying to jump up. So I don't like zonal marking. Why does Mo pass too much these days instead of taking on players shooting? He's certainly laying on some passes and assists, and I like it personally. But there are times as well where I feel if that had just fallen to Mo, we'd have scored. Like the one that Mo headed it to Darwin, and Darwin kind of lost his footing and mishit it. I feel like if that was vice versa, Mo scores. So, my friends, look, I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see you on Wednesday for the watch along. We'll be starting from 6:30 because it's a 7:30 game. So I will see you for that. Don't forget, tomorrow, preview comes out for the Sheffield United game. And don't forget to check out Top of the League as well, where I've just put my predictions out for the midweek game. So look, thank you all so much. We're really close to 230,000. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. I think we'll get there over the next couple of days. And yeah, appreciate your time as well this evening. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again to our sponsors, Oosh. Don't forget AA10 to get 10% off any of the Oosh draws, including the €18 package to enter to see Liverpool against Chelsea with a Carlsberg hospitality package for 2 tickets, 1 night's accommodation at the Ibis Hotel, Liverpool City Centre, and €300 in Ryanair vouchers or the cash alternative. Scan the QR code or visit oosh.com and use AA10